A 95-pound German Shepherd that nobody wanted sat in a shelter for 14 months. A billionaire's estate manager offered $10,000 to buy him as a guard dog, but the woman who adopted him for $75 refused to sell. And the reason why will change everything you think you know about what a dog is worth. The email came on a Tuesday. We represent a private estate in Connecticut. We're prepared to offer $10,000 for immediate transfer of the German Shepherd you adopted last month. We'll cover all transportation. Please respond at your earliest convenience. Nora Bishop read it twice. Then she laughed so hard she spilled coffee on her keyboard. She looked at Kota, who was lying upside down on her couch, all four legs in the air, tongue hanging sideways, snoring loud enough to rattle the window. A 95-pound German Shepherd worth $10,000? The same dog she had adopted for $75 from a county shelter in rural Virginia, where he had been sitting for 14 months because nobody wanted him. She typed back 3 words: "He's not available." Then she blocked the email. Here's how Nora found Kota. She didn't, he found her. Nora was 31, a night shift ER nurse in Richmond, and she was exhausted in a way that sleep couldn't fix. 3 years of overnight shifts, 12 hours on her feet, watching people on their worst days, then driving home at 7 a.m. to an empty apartment where the only sound was the refrigerator humming. Her friends worried. Her mother called every day. Her therapist suggested a routine change. Nora suggested more coffee. On a Wednesday in January, her car broke down on Route 17, half a mile from the Gloucester County Animal Shelter. She walked there to use their phone. While she waited for the tow truck, she wandered through the kennels. She wasn't looking, she wasn't planning, she was killing time. Kota was in the last kennel on the left, a 95-pound sable German Shepherd with a dark face, amber eyes, and a coat so thick he looked like he was wearing a fur jacket over a fur jacket. He was sitting perfectly upright in the center of his kennel, not barking, not pacing, just sitting there, staring at the wall across from him like he was thinking about something important. The shelter worker noticed her looking. That's Kota, been here 14 months. Previous owner was a dog trainer who went bankrupt, had 11 dogs, surrendered all of them. Kota was the last one picked up because he wouldn't leave the property, sat on the front porch for 3 days after the owner left, waiting for him to come back. Nora felt something crack in her chest. She knew what it felt like to wait for someone who wasn't coming back. She had done it for 6 months after her father passed, sat in his favorite chair every Sunday morning, waiting for the front door to open. "What's wrong with him?" she asked. The worker shrugged. "Nothing. He's healthy, trained, calm. He's just big, and he's German Shepherd. People want golden retrievers. People want doodles. Nobody wants a 95-pound dog that looks like he could break down a door." Nora signed the papers that afternoon, $75. The tow truck driver waited in the parking lot while she loaded a dog the size of a small deer into the back seat of a borrowed car. The first month was quiet. Not bad quiet, good quiet. Kota didn't destroy anything. He didn't chew, didn't bark, didn't pace. He just existed in Nora's space like he had always been there. He slept on the floor next to her bed. He followed her to the kitchen in the morning and sat while she made coffee. He walked beside her so precisely on leash that people on the street asked if he was a service dog. But here's what made Kota different. He read Nora's shifts. Within 2 weeks, he had memorized her schedule. On days she worked nights, he would nap all afternoon, then stay awake until she left at 10 p.m., walk her to the door, and lie there until she came home at 7:30 a.m. On her days off, he would wake her up at exactly 9 a.m. by placing one paw on the edge of the bed and sighing until she opened her eyes. Not barking, sighing, like a disappointed father waiting for his teenager to get up. Nora started calling him her roommate, except he never leaves dishes in the sink, and he actually listens when I talk. I see you're still watching, but you haven't subscribed yet. That honestly breaks my heart. Hit subscribe now. The $10,000 offer is only the beginning of this story. 2 months after the adoption, Nora's neighbor mentioned that a private estate in Connecticut was looking for trained German Shepherds for security. Billionaire families. They paid well. You could make serious money, That dog is perfectly trained." Nora smiled and changed the subject. A week later, the email arrived. $10,000. She blocked it without a second thought. Her mother called that weekend. $10,000. You make $42,000 a year. Nora was quiet. Then she said, "Mom, do you know what Kota does when I come home from a bad shift?" Her mother waited. "He meets me at the door. He doesn't jump, he doesn't bark, he just leans. He puts his entire 95 pounds against my legs and leans until I stop shaking. Sometimes I stand in the doorway for 10 minutes and he doesn't move. No person has ever done that for me." Her mother didn't bring up the money again. Stories like this remind us why some things can't be bought. But the moment that sealed everything happened on a night in March. Nora came home from the worst shift of her career. 2 patients lost in the same hour. She sat on the bathroom floor at 4 a.m., still in her scrubs, crying so hard she couldn't breathe. Kota pushed the door open with his nose. He turned sideways in the small space and pressed himself against her. His head landed on her shoulder. Not her lap, her shoulder, like a hug. And he stayed there for 37 minutes. She knows because the bathroom clock was directly in front of her. Her therapist asked what changed. Nora said, "I finally have someone who shows up at 4 a.m. without being asked." 3 weeks later, a second email arrived. Same estate, $15,000 this time, full veterinary care, private grounds. He would live better than most humans, the email said. Nora typed back one sentence: "He already does." Today, Kota is 5. Nora switched to day shifts. She sleeps at night for the first time in 4 years. Not because Kota guards the apartment, although he does. Because for the first time in her adult life, she comes home to something breathing, something warm, something that leans against her legs and says, without words, "I'm not leaving." The estate offered $15,000 for a dog she got for $75. Any financial advisor would say, take the deal. But some things aren't investments. Some things are just worth more than money. Because Kota didn't need a billionaire's compound. He needed a bathroom floor at 4 a.m. and someone who wouldn't leave him the way everyone else did. And Nora didn't need $15,000. She needed 95 pounds of lean. What would you have done? Would you take $15,000 or keep the dog? Tell me in the comments.